Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pod Against the Machine presents The B.R.I.A.N. Identity, Chapter 5, A Wild Sheep Chase. We are doing this as a special stream since it is the end of Pride Month. We are doing a charity stream with the proceeds going to Equality Florida. There will be a link in Twitch and a Tiltify link for it. We are... Wow, my mouth is working. We are also doing a raffle event on the Friday run of this game. We will be raffling off some critical hit cookies. On the Saturday run of this game, we will be raffling off some Pod Against the Machine merch. And on the Sunday stream of this game, we'll be raffling off a $25 gift card for Norse Foundry. So stay tuned for those.
Gift card.
Oh, $35 gift card, excuse me. We are also joined by two guests, as we usually are joined by guests for Brian. The first is Furtive of the Wayward Expeditions podcast.
Yes, hello, welcome. How are you?
And the second is Rachel of the 25 North podcast.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here. And as for our regulars, we have Jeff, normally the voice of Asher on the regular show.
Hello.
Zach, normally the voice of Brixby on the regular show.
Howdy, just working on my disappearing act right now.
Sam, normally the voice of everybody that isn't one of the four of us on the regular podcast.
Howdy.
And myself, Gero, normally the voice of Aluina on the normal podcast. And as I mentioned earlier, we are doing a bit of a conversion in that we are doing the Wild Sheep Chase module for Pathfinder 2nd edition. That's right, that is a thing that exists.
Conversionception.
To start off, we are going to paint ourselves a little bit of a picture here. We are outside of a small little kind of no-name hamlet about 20 miles north of the town of Sandpoint. And meeting out in the outskirts of this town is a bit of an odd motley group of adventurers. To start us off, let's go with Furtive.
Yeah, you see in front of you someone who looks a little wizened, a little worn for the wear of the road. But otherwise, whatever you would conceptualize as the most average and standard university professor in some lightly worn some adventuring attire.
Right. And next to this older gentleman, who do we see there? Sam.
A totally normal looking pair. There's a rather snake-like gentleman who shape-wise is not super snake-wise, as he's quite broad and kind of stoutly built, but he's got purple scales and a snake sort of face. He's wearing overalls with just like bulging pockets overflowing with all manner of stuff, and does appear to have a heavily armored rhinoceros at his side, just hanging out.
Right. And also just hanging out is... Who else do we see, Rachel?
So there is a humanoid who is armored in various sea things, seashells, barnacles, seaweed, brightly colored, and as you look closer you can see that they are themselves a collection of living coral.
And next to this collection of living coral, Zach, who do they see?
also a fun tangle of normally non-sentient material, like a walking garden patch. Um, while he may be not too, well, let's say he's out of his salad days, as it were, he is still relatively young vegetable. He's a Goran gentleman who is not armored at all, but looks ready to punch.
And finally, Jeff, who is the last member of this party that we see.
Yeah, the last member you see is just an ordinary, sort of early middle-aged man, fairly, slightly muscular, but otherwise fairly nondescript, brown beard, brown hair, just carrying a quarterstaff and a backpack and, just normal human stuff.
Normal human stuff. So, this group of 5 perfectly normal, average humanoids have been gathered here by a message they received from one Gareth Burwaddle, who is the leader of the organization B.R.I.A.N, which, and Sam can correct me here if I forget it exactly, is the Bureau of Research into...
An investigation.
Oh, Bureau of Research and Investigation of Aliens in Numeria. And oddly enough, they were not contacted to come to Numeria. So some of them probably had to travel pretty far in order to get to where they currently are. And for some reason, Gareth is just not around. They are standing outside of this town where they were told to meet, and the only thing they've seen is up in a nearby oak tree, a large owl has just kind of been hanging out. And so I imagine this may be the first time some of these adventurers are meeting each other. What does everybody kind of do while they're here?
I pull out the letter again and double check the time and place and look around at these individuals. Wave the paper. I assume you all are here for... Tap the sheet of paper. This, yes, as well. Maybe.
We all nod silently.
Yeah, no, I mean, as is the style of the podcast.
Everyone just turns and stares in silence and blinks an excessive number of times. I, for one, am. I don't know about the rest of you, but Gwen and I were expecting to see our little gnome friend.
Oh, this gentleman's a gnome. Interesting.
And as everybody's just kind of making chit-chat, double-checking they're in the right place, eventually you hear a voice coming out of the tree that says, "Hey, sorry I'm late, and thank you everyone for showing up. Real glad that that Gareth was able to get all of you guys." And you see, sitting in the same spot where that owl had been sitting, this very strange gentleman. Pop him into the token layer here. You see, looks like maybe a halfling. He's normal proportion, but he's only about 4 feet tall, except for the fact that his head is a little bit bigger than it should be, and his arms and his fingers are a little bit uncomfortably long, and he is extremely garishly dressed in clothes that look completely out of anything you've ever seen. And he says, some of you may have worked with me before, you with the rhino. I think I kind of recognize you a little bit. My name is Hal Fling. I'm also nominally a agent of B.R.I.A.N. I actually own my own business, Black Pyramid Investigations, but I do work with Gareth sometimes, and he has lent me your help to investigate some weird happenings around here. See, I got a buddy, kind of ridiculous name. His name's Shine Bright. He's a wizard, and went missing a while back. Sent some people to check on him, and they came back with the craziest stories I have ever heard. The kind of stuff that is absolutely up Garrett's alley. So I talked to him. He sent me you guys. And well, so here's the story. The people I sent out, the first group, only 2 guys came back. And they told me this crazy story that they saw the Sandpoint Devil. Giant red wings, horse head, the whole deal. And that it carried off one of their buddies. Other one ran off into the woods. No idea what happened to him. Sounds nuts, right? So, I assume maybe they spent the money I gave them on Flea Leaf and made up a story. Sent another group in. They claimed they saw the Black Mega. You know, big, giant, crazy sea serpent thing. Again, ridiculous. We're in the middle of the woods. There's not even water. So, I decided to go look for the guy myself. Thing is, I can't find his house. I don't know what happened. He's a wizard, like I said. Maybe he put it under some kind of spell. Talked around some local farms. They said they've got chupacabras eating their sheep. No joke. So, I mean, I'm already way over my head in this. I'm just trying to find my friend. You guys, you can deal with crazy stuff like this. You hunt aliens for a living. I mean, aliens. Like, that's a thing. But yeah. So, I'm willing to pay Gareth's normal rate, whatever that is for other people. He doesn't pay me great, but I'm sure he pays you much better. What do y'all say?
Well, it isn't aliens, but I'm willing to branch out. He holds that for like at least 2 or 3 seconds. Puts his viney hands down. Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. Seems like we can be of assistance.
Yeah, why not? I think all your investigators there are lying to you, though, buddy.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure somebody got drunk and saw a dog or something, but you know, I need professionals for this, clearly. And people like you, I've been out on a couple of missions for Gareth where he thought it was aliens and it ended up being nothing. So I know that you guys are probably used to that kind of thing. So you're the best guys for the job. Best team.
How hard could it be to find a simple wizard? We'll have this wrapped up in time for lunch.
Well, that depends on if the wizard wants to be found, right? They can be a little tricky at times.
Yeah, that's the thing, is when you get into magic users, you get into all sorts of trouble. If they wanna hide, if they wanna keep you off of their beach, as it were, well, things can get nasty.
Well,
Yep.
I for one am optimistic. I'm sure he'll turn it. About 3 seconds, puts his hands back down.
Oh, sorry. Oh, that's a good one.
Thank you. I pride myself on being a comic relief, as it were.
Slowly,
Rhinoceros
with
is
that
just-
one, I turn and look at our coilish friend to see if there's any response to that last joke from them.
There is not. Very straight face. Almost as if they perhaps don't understand.
Well, that's too bad. Anyway, Mr. Sorry, I'm bad with names.
It's, actually, it's, Halifax, Fitzgerald Lingstrom, but Halfling is what I like to do, because, it's kind of a pun, kind of like his, turnip thing. I'm a halfling.
Very clever, yes. Should we succeed on this, or optimistically, when we succeed on this, what do we do then? You've neglected that part of...
Yeah, if you can find Shine Bright, the first thing is to ask him what the heck's going on. Why haven't I heard from him? And second is to come back here and let me know. I mean, I'd like it if you brought him with me, but even if you just gave him word that I'm looking for him, that's good enough for me. And then I will pay you the going rate for a B.R.I.A.N investigation.
Wonderful. So these creatures in these reports are secondary and not important to our actual task, then? Or are they tantamount to this?
If you can maybe figure out what the heck is going on with that, then, you know what? I've got kind of an interest in weird animals, so yeah, if you can figure out what the heck these things are, I'll throw in a bonus.
I'm sure there'll be some relation along the way at the very least, yes.
And if anybody wants to roll any knowledges or lores they may have that they think would help them identify the magical creatures listed, maybe like I don't know if chupacabras would fall under nature or if they're magical beasts, or if you have maybe any kind of lore that might work for
I believe
any
none of
of
these are
the
humans.
kind of more
esoteric lore.
They laughed at me when I took
yeah.
goat sucker lore. But
yeah, esoteric, I would say, would work for the kind of like two mythological ones, the or not mythological, like folk creature ones, the Sandpoint Devil and the Black Maga.
Well, that is a solid 29 on esoteric lore.
Okay, you know that both of these are sort of kind of half mythological creatures. Like, enough people have said they've seen them that you could believe in a world like Galarian that they exist. But you know we're kind of a little ways out of the element of one of them, and the other one supposedly lives in the water, so we're nowhere near where that one should be. As far as any like attributes or anything about them, because they are kind of mythological, they have this sort of mystique around them. You don't know any real abilities other than supposedly the Sandpoint Devil can fly and has some sort of breath attack, and the Black Maga is some type of sea creature, maybe like a sea serpent or a giant octopus or something like that. There's conflicting accounts.
can we roll anything on Shinedown?
Yeah, if you have, let me get your...
Knowledge alt-rock? Is that
yeah.
not...
The knowledge humans is kind of an interesting one. A 17 wouldn't really give much other than, like, that sounds like that might be a human wizard name. Let's see. Your actual rolls. Does anybody have any knowledges that they think, like, would be good for that one? Because I just realized the parts of your sheets that I have open, I don't have the knowledges open.
How about deception? You
No.
could lie about knowing about Shinedown.
How about lore farming? Because
Warfare lore?
If you have lore farming, I will absolutely let you roll that for the chupacabras.
I have lore farming.
Yeah.
Wizards are
Wow.
academic in nature, so maybe
I'll let that academia roll. That's high enough that I will give you you've vaguely heard the name as a known wizard that lives in the area. And with the 26 farming, Giant, you know that chupacabras, unlike the other two, are not mythological creatures in Galarian. Like, these are actual animals that are a known livestock predator in certain areas. You haven't ever heard of any of them living around here, though.
So, the chupacabra accounts could be legitimate. I mean, they should just put up a scare chupacabra. That's pretty simple. It's just we'll insert a great description of what a scare chupacabra looks like later.
Please, yeah.
With the power of audio magic. No.
Just a DVD copy of Species 2 on a stick.
Exactly. Oh my god. So why don't they just put up a DVD copy of Species 2 on a stick? Exactly. So that's my question to you.
And Magellan, with the Nat 20 on nature, knows that chupacabras are medium-sized creatures. Knows there are some varieties that can also fly, though the majority of them don't. He knows they have claws. They have spikes. They have a bit of an armored hide. They're nasty little monsters. And if we do end up in combat with them, I can give you some more that you know about them then. But I'm sure that's not going to happen because chupacabras don't live around here.
Combat? Come on, we're just finding a wizard.
Yeah. So Hal is then going to give you directions. He's actually going to point sort of back in the direction that a lot of you came from and say, so a couple miles that... That's not the voice. So a couple miles that way is the tree line. He's got a place back in their tower. Real nice place. And like I said, I can't find it. He did some kind of magic to it, I'm sure. And but the farm that I talked to, it's the Einadel farm. And it is... right near the edge of the forest. You can't miss it if you just go in a straight line that direction for an hour or two. Talk to this Farmer Dell, and he can tell you what he told me, and maybe that can give you some kind of better lead. Oh, and one more thing, I do have this... I will show this to the players. I have this... painting. It's a painting of me and Shinebright at the kind of after he finished the tower. Really incredible quality painting, and but that's obviously him there next to me, and that's, if you're looking for him, that's him. So you guys can hang on to that, and he will hand it over to a member of the party. This strangely detailed, but also kind of blurry and dotty painting of him and Shinebright.
Except for Hal. I mean, you like know your angles. You really just have that pose perfect.
It's almost like I had the one picture of him because I made it with AI and could make the face again. So he will then wish you all good luck and point you in the direction of the Einadel farm. And what is the party's next move? I'm assuming probably just head to the farm or give up and decide you're not fighting any chupacabras today.
I think we'll probably start a band.
Yep.
I like it.
Seems like
Yeah.
a reasonable solution.
Well, Chad, for one, will climb up upon his rhinoceros, and he's ready to go.
Oh.
Just a snake on his rhinoceros.
I am also ready to make like a me and leave.
And
You can't leave.
I will say we can count this as sort of like an encounter mode as you're moving towards this for the purpose of if anybody wants to be percepting or detecting, or you don't really feel like you need to be sneaking, but anything like that, if anybody wants to let me know what they're doing on the way to this farm.
Happy to scout. Pretty good perception here. The old wisdom class.
Suppose shield
You
up.
are
That's a
scouting.
thing.
Defending. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, scouting, defending, sneaking, detecting, usually if you have a detect skill. Percepting, then is just the normal one.
Yeah, I think I'm just percepting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figure, like, I will say that's the one that kind of makes the most sense. It's the middle of the day, you're walking through a field, there's nothing around that seems...
I will say that Gwen the rhinoceros is better at percepting than Chad, of course. And also she does have scent. Imprecise. I guess Chad also has scent. They're both good at smelling.
So you continue on, and like Hal said, it takes a little over an hour, but you eventually come upon a small farmstead where you see, surrounded by a stone wall on kind of the front with the forest backing up to the back and side of it. And that should be on the main screen for everybody now. Yes, it is open. I still have the, what definitely isn't a 1920s photograph up here. Let me get that off the screen. So you guys approach this farm off to the left where we can't see because I didn't make the map for it. You see a couple of small fields of what looks like maybe like wheat or hay. And to the right, you see a paddock with a number of sheep grazing in it. Oh yeah, I gotta give you control of Glenn again. I don't remember how I did that originally. Oh yeah, here it is, controlled by Sam. Save. Okay. You see a paddock on the right with a number of sheep grazing in it. And you see a small kind of shaped almost like a capital P little stone farmhouse that you definitely can't see the inside of because we have lighting.
Can my lore farms teach me anything about this bucolic pastoral situation that we find ourselves in?
You know what? Roll me a lore farms.
With pleasure, friend. Sorry, lore farming. For those people that are like, what is lore farms? What is the authenticity of this podcast?
With your 23, it's a farm. You think this is kind of like a homesteader. It does not appear to have enough here to really do much more than have what he needs to survive on and maybe a little bit to sell in a market. Like, this is not any kind of big operation. This is probably just like one or two people.
Looks here like this is more subsistence. No, believe me, as a salad, I know a ranch, and this isn't one.
Yes, we found it in this hidden valley.
Now, I think there was a time in my life when I was not, let's say, particularly off-putting to the random passerby, and I would be willing to, knock on the door and say hello, but I'm a snake now, so generally speaking, people find that to be a challenge.
Yes, that's why I'm not looking like a dragon at the moment. I mean, don't worry about it.
Dragon, I say absentmindedly as I walk up and knock on the door.
So you knock on the door after a few seconds of shuffling around. A kind of just nondescript peasant farmer-looking gentleman opens the door. According to this lovely Roll20 token here that I had for him, he is holding a bale of hay. And he goes, "Yeah, what do you want?"
We've heard reports of, this is going to sound odd, chupacabra in the area.
Mm-hmm. Tangle thing's been eating my sheep.
Creditable reports, everybody. Well, interesting. May we help you with this? It isn't for a reward. We are not adventurers. We have a different task we're looking for, but they seem related.
I don't need... If you can kill those things or eat my sheep. And
certainly.
maybe also get rid of whatever's giving me new sheep.
Giving you new sheep.
Yeah, they ate 3 of my sheep, and came out this morning. There's only 2 sheep missing. Somebody's giving me sheep.
I blink at him a few times and turn back to the others and blink at them a few times.
Sounds like someone's pulling the wool over his eyes. 3 seconds or so before I put my hands back down.
Now, says the snake from a safe distance. Do you, have visual confirmation of a, partially consumed sheep, or did you have, a situation where, a sheep may have wandered off and returned
Well,
at a later date?
The ones that went missing, they made a lot of noise when them things grabbed them. And I was out to see it all 3 times, because you can't not hear it. But I'm not going to fight one of those. And spikes and that big skull head. And
probably lots of blood and gore as well, I'm sure. Telltale signs of a mauling, yes? But do you mind if I sniff around a bit?
Yeah, you know what? Knock yourself out. Sure. And he will let all of you into whatever area of the paddock that you would like to look around in. He might actually show, like, one was taken kind of over here. You should be able to... I think I have all the doors set to unlock. If anybody wants to actually drop their tokens in, they should all be able to fit through. Let me know if the rhino can't fit through the size I made that door.
The rhino cannot be stopped by mere walls.
Now, these sheep, the ones that appeared new, can you describe them a little bit better? I'm going to use pointed question with this as well as we begin this investigation.
So make me, I'll let you roll this yourself. Make me a diplomacy check. So you make your roll here for this. Right. Okay, so he is going to say, well, when I got up this morning, like I said, they took 3 sheep over the last 2 days, real crazy, but got up this morning, went out, and kind of looks around, he goes, that one there in the back, something's different about that one, and if you guys look, does look a little different than the other sheep. You notice it appears to have pierced ears, which is a little odd for farm animal, and you see it has something around its neck, and it also appears to be wearing like a bracelet. It just very odd. And actually, all of you notice as he points it out, it kind of looks up at you for a second, and then immediately looks back down and starts eating grass, like it's trying to pretend it didn't understand this conversation.
Magellan will gaze at it balefully, and then he, as a druid, has the wild empathy ability to kind of have rudimentary conversation. Really not to like understand what they're saying necessarily, but it says I can, make an impression on animals, make very simple requests of them. So kind of wants to just take a moment to kind of try talking, not like talk so much as getting a hey, how's it going to the normal sheep, and then hey, how's it going over there, bracelet having ear pierced sheep?
Roll me.
What was that?
Diplomacy. Because you make a roll as part of that, don't you?
Yeah, no, I can make a diplomacy roll. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna roll that.
Yeah, make a roll. I will say this one, since you said you were trying to communicate with one of the regular sheep first, you make that roll. Just kind of, it's a sheep. It looks up because it hears noise, and then it just goes back to, like, ruminating. Not ruminating. What is the
state of sheep? No, that's
just
canon.
pondering.
Now, from here on in, all sheep are ruminating.
I'm trying to think. What the heck is the word I'm trying to think of where they like chew cut? It's
genuflecting in the daylight.
Masticating.
Masticating.
Yeah. Yes.
Chicho actually is able to talk to animals legitimately, not to put down your druid powers, but yeah.
Dang.
So they will kind of smile at you in your attempts, and then walk up to the sheep and say, how long has your jeweled friend been here?
And it looks up again, and this time it almost looks like it understands you, and it just kind of says, "New. Today."
This fluffy one says that fluffy one is new.
Well, that checks out. This smells a little off. It smells of magics, I think.
Hey, you. That's EWE. Do you acknowledge the language-based humor?
And you notice it kind of like almost seems to be deliberately ignoring everyone as it continues to eat. And I saw Hugh rolled an Arcana on the sheep.
Not enough.
With that roll, you think, like, polymorph spells are a thing. You think it could maybe be something that isn't a sheep.
I don't know if it's shapeshifted or inflicted upon it, though.
Yeah.
It seems fishy.
Yeah. In fact, I will say, little peek behind the curtain, I did roll your first roll for it, the one that you get automatically, which did fail, whether you can tell it right away. But with, like, the roll that you made after everybody's like, there's something wrong with this, you do think that this could possibly be something polymorphed. And with Magellan's 30 nature, this thing is definitely not acting like a sheep.
Yeah, I didn't know if that would be something I could as a druid, although not one who wild shapes himself. If his familiarity with druidicism, it's a word.
Yeah, I would say with a 30, because that's almost a critical success, that you are almost 100% positive that this is something sentient pretending to be a sheep or possibly trapped as a sheep. You can't really tell which.
I get down next to the sheep as it's grazing. I just kind of stare into its eyes. It almost headbutting this thing as I'm like just looking into its face.
And it is still staring at the ground, and you actually see like beads of sweat coming up on its forehead as it is doing its best to ignore you right next to it here. And let me see. Gonna pop us into, oddly enough, we're going to have some initiative starting up here. If I can remember. As you guys are kind of crowded around this sheep, and I'm going to have these couple of rolls here be the initiatives for some of our party here. So, gonna add a. Wait, what did that do? Add a second of that. That's not what I want. Oh, because I'm on player. Hugh, its initiative is going to be his 27 Arcana that he was rolling to check the sheep. Magellan's is going to be his nature, and everybody else, if you can roll me a perception for your initiatives. Did it add Jolly to the sheep when he rolled his? It didn't, did it?
No. Sorry, it's pronounced golly.
Golly. Get Hugh.
I'm gonna milk that G.
Oh wait, no, he was who I got. Need to grab Magellan with his 30 initiative. And I'll add a one for the rhino, which
Well,
oh wait, no, because he goes. That's right. That's how. I'm assuming he works like an animal
feel
companion,
naked
where
without
you give him a command and he goes. Okay. And Chico is on there. Jolly. Roll 20. So great. Another 30. Man. These are killing these initiatives. And did we have... Jettles is 18. So, as you guys are examining this sheep, you suddenly hear just this horrible cry from over here in the back as this sheep is yanked under the fence by a creature that appears. And this creature appears here. And you see coming out of the woods another pair of that creature. And I'm going to blow this guy up for everybody. You think it looks maybe vaguely like a chupacabra. But something's a little off. Thing is just a little bit off. What's he over there for you guys? That's an odd spot for him to be, because that's not where he is on my GM one. He should be here. If I move him again, is he back? Is he outside the fence again? For you guys?
They're all outside the fence.
Yeah, they're all outside
Okay.
the fence.
All right. For some reason, he was showing up inside the fence on my recorded screen.
Yeah, I saw that one move, like, due west 1 square and then back.
Double check that he's moved here. Okay, yes, he has moved on there. You see these show up. One of them grabs a sheep and just mauls it through the fence. And we get our turn order in order. That I want descending. And it is whoever wants to go first between Magellan and Gali.
Oh, Magellan.
Oh no. I am playing Magellan.
He's gelling.
Okay. Yep. Alright then. Magellan Ulrith will stride for his... You know what? He doesn't have to. Never mind. Boop. Magellan Ulrith will expend an action to invoke Reach spell, allowing him to not have to move. He can just stay put. And then in a 10-foot burst, located in such a way as to get both of the eastern chupacabras, he will cover the ground in a thin layer of ash and flame as he casts Wildfire. Any creature that ends its turn in the area will have to make a reflex save. Anyone that moves on the ground within the 10-foot burst area will take fire damage.
I can see if I can angle this so it... there is 15 feet between them, so I don't know if I can make it hit both of them.
Is it a 10-foot radius or?
It's a 10-foot burst, so...
Yeah, so I would assume it would then be like a 10-foot, like basically take up the same as a...
Man,
I think
that makes sense, but I don't like
burst
it.
is radius, isn't it?
Oh, is it a 10-foot?
No.
Does it say radius? If it's radius, then it says 20
It
total.
says burst, and I was assuming it was radius and not diameter.
I'll assume it's radius too, because it usually is for those things. So let me make that a 20.
I'm good at spellcasters. That's why I play them all the time. I don't play them ever.
Yeah. So that gets both of them.
Yeah, it's a burst effect issues forth in all directions from a single corner of a square, meaning that if you have a 20-foot burst, it extends in 20 feet from every direction from the
Okay, yeah,
corner
so it
you
is radius.
choose.
Okay. Yep.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll center it on corner of that one there, because that'll hit both of them. Okay, and did you say that was damage?
It won't immediately cause damage. It's just if
Only
they
when they
move
move
or if
in
they
it,
end
that's-
their
yeah.
turn
Yeah.
in that area. But that would be all 3 actions. 1 to make it reach spell, and then 2 to cast.
So, yep. What did you say it was called?
It's Wildfire.
Okay. All right. All right. So that is your turn then, and it is Golly's turn.
Oh, man. Unfortunately, I am unable to do what this salad does best, which is punch. So I'm going to delay. Tactical delay right now.
Golly will delay. So that brings us to Hugh.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean in real close to this. Whisper into its ear, "You can understand me and don't want to die. Stay put." I'm going to intimidate it with that. And then I will also cast Sanctuary on it.
And you see, you do appear to have cowed this sheep, and it actually kind of like hunkers down, and you cast Sanctuary on it. So if anything tries to attack it, they have to make a save, and that was probably a pretty smart thing to do.
With my remaining action, I'll just stand and you see me pop open from my cane that I've been walking with a sword.
Right, pull out a cane sword as your final action. And that is going to bring us to Chico.
Chicho. Yeah, so I will run forwards to stand between this human farmer and these evil things. Raise a shield and then reach over and touch my snake friend, casting guidance on him, them, I'm not sure.
So you cast guidance on Chad. That's 2 actions? Or no,
Guidance is
two
one, raise
Yeah.
shield is one.
Raise
Yeah.
shield is the action, yeah.
Mhm.
All right. At the next turn, you hear this horrible sound, and suddenly something swoops down from the sky and grabs Farmer Dell and just lifts him away, and they both like disappear again, by which I mean now they're over here.
Oh, dang.
And the thing you see is, let me see if I can blow that up. You see some type of creature, again, some kind of strange skull-like head, red wings. Skull looks more equine on this one. Hopefully that did blow up. It did not blow up. Awesome.
Shift Z.
Yeah, I hit Z, and it blew up in my GM window.
Shift Z.
Oh, Shift Z?
Yeah.
There we go.
Hey, there it is.
There it is.
Ooh, look at that
So
little
that means the
rainbow
Chupacabras
spike.
never blew up. So there's the Chupacabra.
Ooh. Wait. Is that a leather daddy chupacabra? What's the situation going
It's
on?
definitely not like a normal dog or wolf with stuff tied to it to look like a chupacabra.
That is not
No,
the
clearly
normal
not.
interest in leather that a chupacabra has as the resident expert.
Oh, they've been visiting the Leatherman.
So that is what happens at that turn order. Then it is Chad's turn. It's what appeared to be a horrifying horse monster just stole the farmer and left.
Well, Chad is a little bit confused by the sudden appearance and disappearance of the flying horse monster. But Chad's not going to let that get in the way of a good fight. So he's going to look over at one of these chupacabras, and he's going to exploit vulnerability with guidance. He's got a nat 20
Yeah,
for
that
a
is-
total of a 34 on
Yeah.
his esoteric lore.
All right, so you are able to exploit the vulnerability of this. You look at it and you think maybe those weird leather strap-looking things might be something that you could attack to maybe like trip it up or something, and that is the vulnerability you figure out, which that gives you a bonus to attack them, I believe. Is that what it does?
On a critical success, I learned all of the creature's resistances, weaknesses, immunities, including the amounts of resistances and weaknesses, and on the unusual weaknesses and vulnerabilities, such as what spells will pass through a golem's anti-magic. I can exploit either the creature's mortal weakness or its personal antithesis. And I also, my strikes become magic if they weren't already, but they were already.
Right. Oddly enough, you think that these creatures don't appear to have any specific weaknesses or any specific resistances, which is odd for a magical beast like a chupacabra. They appear to be more like a regular animal in that case.
Well, I think Chad's gonna yell out, these just look like regular, non-fancy chupacabras. Just, rub some dirt on your weapons, it'll be great. And, he's gonna lock eyes with that northern chupacabra that he just analyzed. And he's gonna use his hypnotic stare. So it needs to make me a will save. Hypnotic lure, I'm sorry.
You a will save. Oh my god, roll 20. Let windows be on top of other windows.
Nope.
That is a 6 on the die, which is probably a critical fail at the level 5.
Well, it's a DC 21.
Yeah.
So if that is a critical failure, on its next turn, it must use all of its actions to approach me.
Yeah, that is a critical fail. Only by 1, though. He's got a decent will.
Nice. Alright, that's all 3 of my actions. That's a 2 action there. Oh, actually, Gwen can act of her own accord and just take a single move action to get a little closer to the fight here.
Gwen gets a little closer to the fight on her own accord. And at that, you see a large hooded figure burst down the gate of the farm. And they are going to stride up to the fence. Followed by one of the chupacabras in this horrifying ash field is going to attempt in acrobatics to jump over this fence. And he is going to fail horribly. In fact, that is a nat 1, so he does not even make it over the fence and fall prone. He falls prone on his side of the fence. Into the cinders, what is he going to take for that?
And he'll take 2 points of fire damage for every square that he would be moving through, and then if he ends his turn in one of these squares, he'll take 2 persistent fire damage.
So I will say his attempt to jump is going to count as moving within the square that he's in, just because he failed so badly. So he will take the 2 from that, and then he will take the 2 persistent, and that is his... actually, technically he gets 2 more actions. He's going to try to jump again, so he will not take the 2 persistent yet. He will stand up as his second action, and he will attempt another jump. He makes it this time, but that just means he has moved through 2 squares of this, and he is still not out of it. So that is 6 points of fire damage this turn. And next is the chupacabra up in the top, is also going to attempt a jump. He makes it on his first try. And then he is going to stride up to... Let's see if he can make it... Yeah, he has crazy movement. He is going to stride up to Magellan as his second action, and as his third action, he is going to attempt to bite. That is a 26.
That does hit.
Okay, you are going to take 8 points of piercing damage.
Ow.
As this creature just bites into you. And it is the third Chupacabra's turn. I love how these guys ended up going all in a row despite rolling vastly different things. Wait, why does that say him? Did I move the wrong one last turn? Oh no, they're both on him. That would be why. I just gotta remember the second one is the other one. He is going to...
It's the one that has to move towards Sam, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And I'm going to say that he's going to attempt to jump rather than just, like, run up against the fence. He also fails his jump. He is going to try again, because it was just a regular failure. He makes it over. And for his third action, he is going to move to Sam. Whoops. Moves right up to Chad, and he will also take 4 points of damage.
Alright, and I will reinsert here at the end
All
of
right.
initiative. And
Reinsert.
I will take one action to enter into wolf style. one action to step uh, 5 feet to the southeast. And then I will take one singular strike at the most recently moved Chupacabra.
All right.
And
Kill him.
if I hit him, we have to do a trippy-do roll.
All right, sounds good.
So let's. Really glad people at home can't see me just scrolling up and down here.
A 29 is not only going to hit him, that is a critical.
Alrighty, so the critical damage on this would be a 24.
Yep. Which you don't have to worry about knocking him down. You punch this thing, and you break through this skull it's wearing and the actual skull under it, and it just drops.
And I don't have an action left, but I will just stay on theme, say, squash. It's a vegetable.
Inserted perfectly that I don't have to move you in the turn order, so thank you for that. Magellan.
Yeah, this definitely real Chupacabra came up and bit him. And so Magellan's going to free action drop his quarterstaff, and then with 2 actions cast a cantrip called Gouging Claw, and his hand turns into this, claw, and he will attempt to gouge the creature. Weird how it works out that way. Oh, that's awful. It's only a 15 total.
Meets beats. You hit it.
Oh, lovely. That's good for me. It's going to be 3d6 plus 4. So that is 17 points of slashing damage.
Right, you've really hurt this thing. And oddly enough, as you do that, you slash where those like strap-looking things are, and the Chupacabra spiked hide on its back actually starts to fall off to reveal what looks like maybe a shaved wolf underneath.
Oh no.
Hugh.
I don't like the look of any of this, especially this big guy back here next to the fence. I don't know what I'm going to do about any of it. I'm also trying to figure out if we really need to be here or not. Since the guy who was tending the sheep isn't here any longer.
Yeah, I mean, it probably has nothing to do with that missing wizard. You guys can probably just leave.
Yeah, that's
Let
kind of
these
what I'm
things eat
thinking.
their sheet in peace.
Yeah. I'm half on that train of thought, yeah. I will devise a stratagem, I guess. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Now, there's also a no weaknesses that goes along with this.
Yeah.
I'm specifically
and I will
trying
say,
to understand what's
like,
going
they-
on here.
Yeah.
Lots of you doing things for me in these
Yeah,
regards.
it's rolls. Yeah.
It seems like the rest of you have a good control on the chupacabra. What is that thing?
So, like, what is everyone's favorite sheep breed? Based off of a Googling, I think I'm more of a Dorset Horn or Hampshire Down sort of guy, but I mean, I could be convinced to enjoy a good Dorper just based off of the name.
Ah, the old dorp.
I'll just drop this in the B.R.I.A.N case anyone needs a little who's who of the sheep world.
Please, yeah.
We got that there. Don't worry, I got you. Hey, we're gonna keep rinsing that joke.
Yeah. And as everybody looks at your sheep, so you did devise a stratagem on how to. Which one did you say you were looking at for that?
This big cloaked figure.
The big cloaked figure?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have devised a stratagem against him. If you attack him this turn, you can use... I just closed it. Why did I just close it? Wow. I am so sorry, everybody. Investigators are very difficult. Okay.
Your int modifier to your attack roll instead of strength.
Yeah, instead of strength, yeah. And it is actually your roll against it you could make, but you devise a stratagem against him, and you think you could maybe like trip this guy up in this big cloak that he's wearing, or something like that. You can hope he flips over the fence like that one wolf did and lands in a convenient pile of cinders. But basically, if you attack him this round, you can use your int modifier, as long as you're using a finesse weapon, which your sword can use. Yep. You know that he has a. Actually, doesn't. You don't think he has any particular weaknesses to anything specific, just from what you can gather looking at him.
Oh, no, it doesn't. It does this. It's not an actual, like, what are their weaknesses? Or whatever.
Oh, yeah, no, that's like the thing you're saying, circumstance most your next attack. Yeah.
Yeah, it like, pairs in with the device.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Like, you think, like, you
strategic
can...
strike.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like, you can...
Lots of moving
Yeah, you meant you were using the no weaknesses ability, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, again, that's like, if you can get up to him, you can get those bonuses. And I just kind of give you the flavor for what you're doing, which is, like I said, you are thinking like you can trip him up in his cloak, you can hope he doesn't fit through the door, or something like that.
So 3 actions, 2 of them will be to move up, and then the third one will be to make the attack.
So you strike him through this open gate that I did say all of the gates opened by the farmer.
Double check that I've got int instead of strength selected. Okay. That was not planned for. Alright. That additional damage is from the strategic strike, which does precision,
yep.
Similar to a rope.
And unfortunately, you swing at this guy, or you kind of stab at him with your sword cane, and it goes into part of the cloak, and you think you should have got a hit, but maybe his body shape isn't exactly right under there, and you unfortunately are not able to hit him.
Distressing.
And it is Chico's turn.
Chicho.
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 Not putting the extra H in there.
Yeah. Having presumably felt the giant creature descend behind me and heard some scream of the farmer, I will glance back quickly. Is this creature actually here with the farmer, or is it long gone?
It is there, but it is still in the air. That's basically where it ended, almost as though it maybe has a swoop attack.
Sure.
That for
And
flavor, to
farmer
get him
is-
out of the combat, picked up the farmer instead of hitting him.
Ah, okay. The farmer is not in need of saving then.
Yeah, no, the farmer is just kind of dangling limply from this thing's leg.
Oh, okay. Alright, I do not want to move up because then that thing won't have to move through the fire, so I will instead move back to 10, 15, yeah, to the flank on this one, the one more in the pasture, and attempt to strike it with my trident, which is here somewhere. Sorry, I don't do roll 20 often. There.
Yeah,
Yes, very effective
yeah,
strike at its toes.
yeah. Aren't quite able to hit it. You come close, but just not quite.
So one action move, strike, and then ray shield as the third.
Okay, so it is now the turn of this strange creature here, which he actually should have ended here, not there. It is going to swoop past. It saw Chicho not attack something, so it is going to fly past at its extent of its movement, and it is going to kind of bring its weird horse-shaped beak down and absolutely not hit. No way. That is a 15.
On Gwen, that will not hit.
No, it wasn't Gwen. It was on Chicho.
Okay, as it flew by, that's still,
Yeah.
no, not a hit.
Yeah, it's sort of like it's basically the 2E version of a flyby attack. And that uses 2 actions, and its third action, it is just going to kind of fly off this way to be away from the combat. And then we are at Chad.
Alright. Chad is... Well, he's getting a little cross here. Let's see. 5, 10, 15, 20. Chad's gonna tell Gwen to circle around on this little chupacabra and just kind of smash it. So she's gonna head on down here, stay along the edge of the fire, and then she will make an attack roll with her horn. That is a 17 to hit.
A 17 is going to hit.
Alright. So the gore, 2 1s on the d8s for 6 damage.
It's hurting. It is hurting.
Alright. Let's see. Chad's got some decisions to make here. I think what he's going to do is go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, head down to the south, and he's going to make eyes at the swoopacabra and demand that will save.
All right. Chupacabra is making its will save. That is 18 on the die. That is a 24.
That passes, so the creature is unaffected. So never mind. It's messed up.
Right. It is this big cloaked figure's turn, and it is going to throw the cloak off of itself after getting stabbed, or almost stabbed, and reveal that it appears to be... Oh, I deleted the wrong one. Awesome. I knew I was going to do that. Natural 20.
Is it a Yeti or Abominable Snowman or something?
It's a bumble.
Yeah, it is weird.
It's a bear with a sword.
It appears to be a bear with a sword.
Oh no, we've fallen into what's it called? The Golden Compass.
Golden Compass,
Does it
yeah.
have a braided
It's called a
beard?
Coca-Cola commercial. This is
Yeah.
actually canon.
It's Yorick Berenson or whatever his last name is. Yeah, it does also appear to have a braided beard, and it is wielding what looks like a falchion. And it is going to, after throwing the cloak off as a flavor action that doesn't take up an action, it is going to swing its falchion at Hugh on the other side of this fence. And this will not give covered because I didn't have it give cover to Hugh because it's really kind of just big enough to keep a sheep out, and I said the door is open, so. That is going to be a 19 on the die for a...
Yes.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure because it's probably a crit.
Oh, most certainly, I'm sure it will be.
Yeah, it is a 30.
Ooh, yeah, bring it on. Tasty damage.
Right. So
Not a fan.
it's...
It's too many.
Ooh, garbage roll on it, though.
It
So
is
that
quite much.
is only 6 points of slashing damage.
Only 6. Okay. Still not a fan, but
Yeah.
if that's how it's going to be, I'm okay with it for a moment.
It is then the burning Chupacabra's turn, so he is going to take his 2 points of persistent fire damage. And then he is going to...
He'd only take that if he ends his turn there.
Oh, if he
so-
ends his turn in it. Okay.
Yeah.
He will take the 2 for moving out of this square right
Well,
here.
I guess
though.
it's persistent, so he has to
Yeah,
roll
if it's
to...
persistent, he needs the.
Yeah, he'll have... Oh, yeah, no,
At the end
because
of
he'll
his-
take it, because
at
then
the
he'll have
end
to
of
make
his
his flat
turn,
roll.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think you take it at the beginning and make your roll at the end.
You take it at the end and then make a roll to see if
Okay.
it keeps going.
Okay, so in that case, then he's still only taking the 2 for having to move through that square to get out of it. And then he is going to attempt to bite this rhino. And that is not super great, but it might hit a 17.
No.
Okay.
Get out of here.
She's a heavily armored rhinoceros.
And then his third action, he is going to attempt to bite it again at a -4 and roll the exact same thing, so that definitely doesn't hit. Then he is going to take his burn damage for this turn, and that is going to kill him before he can make his flat check.
Go team. We did it.
Yeah. Focus
flurry
spell,
of
not
fear.
wasted.
Yeah.
The power of attrition.
You listen to this podcast, you know how much we love wars of attrition.
This last chupacabra-like creature has found itself flanked, and it's going to look at its 2 dead friends, and it's actually going to run. It is going to use its first action to move the extent of its movement out of here, and then for the next 2 actions, it is going to move another 70 feet into the woods, and it is just gone. And it is Golly's turn.
Please, call me by my formal name, which for everyone at home is Caesar Cobb Waldorf. And he is going to... I'm going to channel across the multiverse one of my favorite behatted individuals played by someone on this podcast. And I'm going to make a long jump. So first that's going to start with a 10-foot stride action. That's going to put me southwest to here. I guess it's a 50-foot stride action. Still doesn't matter. It's a stride action to start my long jump.
Yep.
And now I'm going to attempt to long jump to here. So let me just do a quick measury doodle. That says it's 25 feet.
Yep. 25 feet.
Right. So we're going to roll old athletics here. And we're going to add 5 to this. Because I have a thing that does that. So that's 21 feet. Rough. Okay. So, because I rolled yeah, so I rolled a 13, 3 with a 13 bonus plus 5 there, giving me 21. So that really didn't do so hot. That puts me, ooh, that's technically 20. Here, let me show this to others. This is technically 20 feet right here. So
It is.
I am going to pop over near the Wingacabra, and using my flying kick monk action, I can now take a strike, because that long jump was 2 actions, the stride was 1 action, but I can strike as part of my long jump action. So I'm going to hit this guy here, or try. That is a 32 with an 18 off the die.
That is enough, and he is flying, but he's low enough that he can take swoops at you guys, so I will say you can hit him with a move that's literally called a flying kick.
Yeah, the cool part of the flying kick is I can technically hit something in the air. Now,
Yep.
Granted, it's usually if it's like in the intervening, like interstitial distance, but like, right?
Yeah.
Kick
Right,
your
roll
dreams.
me your damage. That is not quite a crit, but it is a hit. Oh, wait, your damage
Alright.
rolls is part of this, right. So that is 11 points of kick damage.
Yep. And I don't know. I think that technically can also be a wolf jaw attack. Can that also be my?
I don't
Do
know
I
if you
get
can
a
do
trip off my
put
style?
two,
Because the first one isn't a style; it's like a thing, but it's also like a stunning fist style. Yeah, let's just. I can
I'd
already
say
hear
it feels
the
like it
people
probably
at home
can't stack.
getting mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
it feels
not
like it
stack
can't stack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually it's one of those weird things of when you're in a stance. Are you actually in a stance right now?
Yeah. I'm in. I'm in
normally
the
it
wolf zone.
limits the type of strikes you can make. But I don't know how that interacts with your flying kick, because my monk knowledge ends there.
Yeah, because I know there's that one stance where like if you take a move action, you break the stance basically, because the whole thing of it is about your standing still.
Yeah, that's not the wolf stance. So
Yeah.
it definitely doesn't break the stance.
But I mean, there's different ones will say like you can only do certain things when you're in the stance sometimes.
Yeah, that's definitely all right.
Yeah, but let's
For all
assume
those
that
wolf stance lovers at
Yeah.
home, I can make wolf jaw unarmed attacks. So I would assume that wolf jaw unarmed attack. Let's see. When you're, ooh, you know what? For all the people at home that love wolf jaw, they would be like, "Hey, you need to be flanking to do that in the first place." So I am definitely not flanking anyone. So yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's my turn.
All right. Magellan.
Yeah, Magellan's going to. Well, I was thinking about attacking the braided beard having falchion wielding upright bear, but it might be easier because the swoopacabra is flying to hit without even having to move. I'm thinking of cove and cover.
Yeah, I will say
things.
You would not have cover attacking that. You would have cover doing anything ranged on the bear.
Yeah. All right, then
because you have Chicho in front of you here, and kind of almost have these two guys kind of around. They're not technically cover though, but Chicho is.
Yeah, fair. That's what I was thinking. Then once again, because why move when you don't have to? We'll spend an action to reach spell, then just huck a produce flame at the old swoopacabra. So I'll make a spell attack roll. And, yeah, shouldn't have rolled a physical die. That was a natural 1 for a total of 12 to hit.
That will not.
Weird. Yeah. Yeah, as the flames kind of fizzle out over to the east, Magellan just kind of looks forlornly and think that was probably my only contribution to this encounter. And that'll be the end of his turn.
All right, Hugh, you have a giant bipedal bear with a sword in front of you.
Yeah. I'm not his biggest fan. Not his biggest fan at all. But I don't really know what to do about it. So we're just gonna sword cane.
All right.
And I don't get any of my bonuses anymore because it is. I can only do that once, right?
I believe
First time
per-
playing an investigator,
yeah.
I'm not quite sure how they work.
I'm pretty sure it's once per thing that you're devising a stratagem against.
That's what I thought.
You can't just devise a new stratagem against the same guy. Is he immune temporarily?
I think it's either an amount of time or it's can't be used against the same creature. It's one of the two. I looked at all this the other day and then it immediately left my head.
I
Left
thought
your
it was a
brain
thing you
immediately.
could just do every turn,
It could
but
be.
it only counts for that one turn. It's been a while since I played Investigator.
Well, let's give it a shot.
You can, in fact, do that every turn. You are correct.
Very neat. That
Yeah,
is.
so you can- My stratagems, you make a recall knowledge check against it.
I think it basically just
Yeah.
makes
No, I'm
two
doing
actions
the,
to do the int
yeah.
instead of strength, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
So-
Yep. So now you can roll your thing, and you did get that again. I rolled the recall. Yes. And I'm apparently rolling much better for you guys than I am for my creatures.
I'm fine
doing
with that. Yeah.
Yep.
That's great.
We definitely need the assistance.
Yeah, very difficult fight.
Yeah. It's a low bar when I'm at the table, but still, thank you for all of your help.
Just need the attack roll against the bear.
Yep. And making sure my numbers are right.
Yep.
Because they change each round, which is annoying, but also
Yeah.
good when it works. Which that doesn't.
Unfortunately, again, that does not quite hit him. Unlike the other things in this fight, he seems like he's actually somebody that can fight.
Yeah, not my. Yep. Not my cup of tea. I'm going to step back a little bit.
Is 3 actions then, because that was the devise, the strike, and the step. Okay.
Yep.
Chicho.
Yeah. So it will take 2 actions, I believe, to run up to Mr. Bear, and then we will attempt to poke it.
The bear.
Poke the bear.
You get a +1 on your attack from my no weaknesses.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, till the end,
So that
till
makes
the
it
start of
a-
his next turn. So that makes that
20.
a 20. You attempt to poke at this bear, and it just kind of like bounces off.
Too much fluffy fur.
Okay, So that was all 3 of Chicho's actions, and it is now this possibly Sandpoint Devil creature's turn. And it locks eyes with Chicho and takes off into the air and opens its mouth. And we will see everybody after a break.
No.
Good night, Gero. Good night, Chicho.
Poor Chicho. We hardly knew ye.